This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 4 in this series that's all about strumming patterns and principles. In this lesson, we're going to look at 2/4 time. Now, with this, we're really building on what we've been doing in 4/4 time in the last couple of lessons in this mini course or in this series. So we've been working with quarter notes and eighth notes and a combination of those into different strumming patterns. So, and in the last lesson in 4/4 time, we sort of covered some of the most foundational, fundamental strumming patterns that we use on the guitar in 4/4 time. So here in this lesson, we're looking at the same sort of thing for 2/4 time. Really, when we're talking about 2/4 time, we're kind of looking at half a measure of 4/4 time. So a lot of times when I'm strumming in 2/4, I will actually just sort of superimpose a strumming pattern from 4/4 time straight over the straight across 2 measures of 2/4 time. As simple as that. It just kind of depends though. Sometimes that doesn't feel right. Really, 2/4 time, when we see it written, then it may be written in that way because it's easier to visualize and follow the music when there's only 2 beats per measure. Maybe there's a lot of 16th notes or something, and so it's written in 2/4 time. Whereas if it were written in 4/4 time, it would be easy to get lost through that music. And so it can easily make sense sometimes in those cases to actually just insert a strumming pattern for 4/4 time straight across 2 measures of 2/4 time. But there's other times where we're really feeling a song only having 2 beats per measure, and maybe we just need to feel it with a strumming pattern specifically for 2/4 time. We'll look at both aspects of that. So up here on the board, this first one, classic way to play in 2/4 time. Down, down, up. Simple as that. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and. I have a chord progression up here on the board just to demonstrate it, and so you can play along with me if you want to and just sort of practice it so you can incorporate it into songs. G, E minor, C, and D. If we do that once per measure, we'd have 1, 2, ready, and. Now, as I've taught in previous lessons with eighth notes, we can swing the eighth note rhythm. So we just did even eighth notes. Even eighth notes or straight eighths is when we have the same amount of time for those eighth notes that fall on the beat versus those eighth notes that fall in between the beats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 and 2 and in this case, with the ands being in between the beats. So we can push those further back into the beat and get swung eighth notes, and it would be like that. So with this strumming pattern with swung eighth notes, we'd have 1, 2, ready, and we'd have G. Now, if we wanted to look at, say, taking a pattern for 4/4 time and superimposing it, I've got it here on the second line. I took a pattern that we've done actually in the last lesson, and I should say we did this one in the last lesson, down, down, up, and we repeated down, down, up for beats 3 and 4 in 4/4 time. So this is the same as the first half of a pattern that is common in 4/4 time. Or it's actually the first half of multiple patterns. All 3 from the last lesson started out this way. But we had a strumming pattern that continued down, up, down, up. So 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up from our 4/4, or our lesson for 4/4 time. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up. Now, if we use the first half in the odd numbered measures 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on, and then we can use the down, up, the back half of that pattern from 4/4 time in the even measures, and we would have 1, 2, and on our first chord, and then in the next measure, down, up on our second chord, and we can insert that that strumming pattern for 4/4 time across 2 measures to get a little bit of variation, this works really well as well. So it'd be like this: 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 1, 2, ready, and. Of course, we can swing these 8th notes as well. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 1, 2, ready, and. Now, you could play with these in 2/4 time, sort of with the same kind of variations that we've looked at in the last 3 lessons, really, with different slaps and palm muting and so on. And I'm going to demonstrate that just with one strumming pattern I have up here on the right. So, in lesson 2 in this course, we did a lot of fun with all down strumming, and so we can do that here, 1 and 2 and we'll play a little bit with some different ways that we can do that as well. But first it'd be like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 Maybe I want to add a little bit of an accent on beat 2, and I'm letting the chords just ring over right now, so the accent would be to strum just a little bit harder on beat 2. Now, if I add a palm mute in, I can sort of control the pitches ringing. If you haven't seen any of the previous lessons, I'm just using the palm of my hand on the saddle. And when I'm doing it in this style, a lot of times I'll bounce a little bit with the strumming pattern as I'm doing that with my hand. Each strum, I lift up just occasionally a little bit. 1 at the end. And then I lift up, just rings a little bit more. It's just something that I naturally do. Our body sort of, as we start to hear and imagine sounds, hear sounds, we start to figure out ways to do it. So you got 1, 2, ready, and. I could do that same sort of thing with the power chords. I just went into the wrong thing. I need a G power chord and E instead of E minor, and then I've got C and D. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and we got G, E minor. And I'm adding a little bit of an accent on that beat too. Isn't that fun? I could do something with I could do some variations with bar chords. Because with bar chords I can control how long the strings ring much easier than we have open strings happening. So if I go back to down, down, up, down, I can let that one sort of ring over, and then on beat 2 I hit it and then I release the pressure, changes it up a little bit, and then I have the up strum. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and E minor. Remember that chord progression. So I'm just releasing after beat 2. 2, ready, and we got it. So fun. Okay, so there's some ways to handle 2/4. There's lots of other strumming patterns that will be given throughout the course, and even some that have already been given for 4/4 time. And a lot of times those can be superimposed right over the top of 2/4 time. But here's a video lesson for you that helps with 2/4 time and gives you some different ideas on ways you can play with 2/4 time, ways you can write for 2/4 time, just different variations you can play with. So lots and lots of fun. But as you've probably seen, closely related with the things that we do in 4/4 time. So, in the next lesson in this series, lesson 5, we're going to look at 3/4 time. Occasionally we play in 3/4 time, look at sort of the foundational, most fundamental strumming patterns for 3/4 time, kind of like we've been doing in this one, and compared to the last two in 4/4 time. So, it's going to be awesome. Hope you're having fun with guitar. Take care, and we will see you again.
If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.